Oh, goodness me, never get a dull moment. Nice to see you. Welcome back to our final broadcast. I think it's probably our final broadcast before we go live with our bootcamp, the Speakers Leadership Bootcamp. If you just join me and you're watching on, I don't know what platform you're going to be watching on. In fact, my head's just gone red. Let me just do that and do a white screen thing to make it better. This is what we do actually in movies. They actually have a white screen to make sure they do colour balancing, to make sure that every colour works. You didn't know that, did you? And you're not really fascinated to find out about it today. Not to worry, but it's good to see you here. My name's Dave Crane. Today we're going to be talking all about the upcoming Speakers Leadership Bootcamp, as I'd mentioned. If you don't know anything about it, then you're in the right place. If you've got a business and you're wondering how are we going to make it work, because right now things are challenging. Right now recession worries me. It worries me that the feelings that I had when I first started the business are being replaced by how small I am, how difficult it is to get recognized, how using social media, which used to be very easy once upon a time, is nothing like as easy as it used to be, because there's so many people doing it, there's so much competition, it's difficult to get noticed. Then you're in the right place. I promise you this will really help with all those things for you. I'm going to be also looking for your questions. So if you've got anything to do with what we're talking about, or any questions at all about what we're going to be covering during this session, then you're very welcome to put it into the comments, and myself or my gorgeous wife Aziza will answer. And if I miss anything, then she'll say, Dave, you've missed a bit. And I'll go, okay, because that's what marriage life is all about. Meanwhile, if you don't know anything about what we do with the bootcamp, then I'm going to find it for you immediately. And so all you have to do is watch this space. If you're a decision maker who's worried you're wasting time, missing out on great clients, or even losing money, you can fix it immediately at the Speakers Leadership Bootcamp. I help game changers like you build a personal and business brand that automatically attracts clients who want to invest in you. Imagine waking up and feeling unstoppable because your ideas turn into dollars every time. Book your place on the next Speakers Leadership Bootcamp and discover the future successes you truly deserve right now. So there you go, that's what's happening tomorrow. And it depends on your time zone. You might be thinking, ooh, Dave, it's kind of challenging because where are you? Well, you can see behind me, I'm in Dubai. And you're saying, okay, well, I'm in a different part of the world. I could be in America or the UK, or Australia, or in India, and all the rest of it. Doesn't matter. When you're enrolled with our group on the course, then what you'll find is you're able to access the videos if you miss anything and you don't join us spot on when we're doing the live sessions. The live sessions are going out between 8:30 and 9:30 each evening, followed by a Q&A session if you upgrade, and then that's an Ask Me Anything session about what we're going to cover and also about what it is that you might want to have help with in your own business. So especially if you're starting a new business and you're kind of challenged about how do I get this out? It's a really good idea. Why is the world not loving it? It's probably a lot to do with your branding. And so let me share with you exactly what we're going to be looking at so you can get a better idea about why it's going to be so effective for you to be part of that bootcamp. Any questions, by the way, feel free to share them with me, and I'll be able to have a look at them and answer you as often as I possibly can. And my gorgeous wife will let me know if I've missed anything, because we're monitoring across our broadcasting on YouTube, Facebook, and also on LinkedIn, and also Twitter, of all places. We should be broadcasting live across there. You have a check, look for me on there. I'm called The Life Designer, not Dave Crane. It's a long story which I won't go into today. So the Leadership Bootcamp was devised to be able to help people to be able to upgrade their skills in the shortest possible way. And I realized that for many people, you're saying, yeah, we're kind of okay, but a pandemic's going to slow things down. It's slowing it down for everybody, but also at the same time, certain businesses do really well. And those times in the past when you've wanted to have a mentor who would just fast track your success? Well, that's pretty much what I've decided to do with this course. This is a 5-day course for an hour each day to go through all the challenges that you might be facing and upgrade you so you're able to deal with them a lot better. Let me walk you through what we're going to be looking at. First of all, imposter syndrome. This is on the very first day. That's going to be tomorrow at 8:30 evening time, which if you're based in the UK, that's going to be 4:30, your time. So imposter syndrome is that experience that everybody goes through. Don't worry about it. Every single person on the planet goes through, thinking, I'm not good enough. I'll never make it. I'll not be very good unless things change. But then you got a little voice in your head that says, well, you deserve this. It's tough because of that's the way things are. And it's not the way things are, but it just feels like that sometimes. So what we've done is put together and you might not know it actually, but I've spent many years as a therapist and hypnotherapist and life coach. So for many years I've been helping people to get over challenges. Now, certainly for anybody who's been to a hypnotherapist or a life coach, you'll be aware of the fact that, we help people stop smoking, lose weight, deal with childhood issues and stress. But there's also a thing called future pacing that allows you to see success in the future. And it helps you get over your fears and your phobias and the challenges you have. Well, when you use that and you use NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which goes down to the coding of how your brain actually works, then when you address it properly, you can come up with some incredible ways and solutions of dealing with imposter syndrome. And I'll be sharing all those with you when we do our very first day, imposter syndrome, and that's on the Monday. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, wow, well, that's a lot to take in one go, Dave. I'm just wondering how that fits in with everything else. You've got 5 days. What else are you going to be talking about that's going to make a big difference? And why should I see this as a sequence? Why don't I just jump in for the ones that I want to do? Well, that's a great question. The reason is because it's been sequenced to allow you to get the fastest possible results. Let me explain. Day 2 is Tuesday, and we go on about LinkedIn leadership strategy. For anybody who's been on LinkedIn more than once, then you realize that it's not just a place to have your CV dancing around. It's actually a place where some fascinating things are going on. For those of you who get a lot of joy, for instance, from being on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, you may be aware that those platforms are still there and they're still doing well, but there's a few challenges from getting the same results, which if you've lived in a cave, you're probably not getting internet right now if you're living in a cave. But if you lived in a cave, then you will realize that a lot of the challenges are down to the changes in management and also the way that people have been dealing with their relationship with their business and how they market it out there. So of all the different platforms, the one I think that you can kind of rely on at this moment in time, and it's by no means guaranteed, is LinkedIn. It's a business-to-business platform. It also does B2C, so you can reach businesses if you're an entrepreneur or if you're an employee. But most people just use it as a place to hide their CV. So maybe if somebody comes looking, they can find that. With this, it's very different. With this, we look through, if you want to grow your own persona, your own brand, then I think LinkedIn's a perfect place to be able to do that, to support who you are, what you do, and what your objectives are. Now, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be looking to change your job, but it does mean that you might want to be promoted faster or seen by many people as the one to watch. It might be that you're looking to connect with people all around the world and go more global with your ideas or your strategies, or you might not even need to monetize it just yet. You just want to connect with people. Now, nobody sees you because you're invisible. And the thing is, and this is a big challenge for all social media things, apart from when they just start up, is once you've been on it for a while, the algorithms double down on making it harder and harder for anybody to get natural organic reach unless you pay for advertising or unless you know how the system works. So it's about creating your influence, and for not everybody, it's not necessarily about being an influencer, about creating your influence. It is different. An influencer is by and large somebody who makes money from saying, oh, you've got a shop, let me talk about your shop, pay me money. Or you've got a range of t-shirts or shoes or jewelry or clothing, whatever it is, and they talk about that and get paid as an ambassador of the product. Or they talk about something to push it. Having an influence means that you can stay on track and talk about the things that are really important to you. Now, why does that matter? I think it matters a huge amount because then you can stay in your lane. It means you get paid directly for the stuff that you do, as opposed to the stuff that other people are doing that you're kind of sharing out there. So when you concentrate on what you do and you got your brand in place and you got over imposter syndrome, so you're happy to go, this is me, then a strategy allows you to be seen by more people. And when you do post, you get a lot more traction and a lot more interest and a lot more feedback about what people are looking for. Once you've got your imposter syndrome in place, then you're going to be ready to do a lot more of that without worrying about trolls or haters, or even when you post something, why aren't people responding? I'll teach you exactly what you have to do to be able to get a lot of response, and you'll see yourself very rapidly popping up the food chain as one of the go-to people in your particular industry. Now, if you just joined us, by the way, we are going live with our bootcamp, and it won't be available anywhere else apart from to our special specific group. We've got a number of people who've joined already, which is very exciting and very fantastic. There's going to be two options, one of which is to go to the normal bootcamp, and then you got the option when you join us to upgrade it. To be able to, and I'll tell you about the facts and figures and the investment involved in a moment. In the Q&A sessions we do after we do the normal bootcamp, you can ask me anything. So it's not just about the specifics of the 5 days we're going to be covering within the actual bootcamp. If you've got a question to do with speaking or copywriting or entertainment, or just how to empower your staff, or how to think differently about things, then I'm there to help you with the Q&A sessions afterwards. We stick on point for the subjects that are covered on the bootcamp, which I've mentioned here, during the normal bootcamp sessions, but the Q&A is a real Ask Me Anything session. I hope that makes sense to you so far. Then on Wednesday, we look at your messaging map. And if you're wondering what a messaging map is, that's your ability to market to your target audience. And you might not know who your target audience is. You might be thinking, well, I'm not really sure who those people should be, Dave. Well, not to worry. Hi to Sebash, by the way. Thank you very much for joining me on this broadcast. I hope you're joining us on the bootcamp. If you haven't already signed up, feel free to let people know. And if you just joined me and you're not really sure, then hi. Spread this, share it, get people on, because we want to make sure that we're creating this community. Here's the thing, safety in numbers. The more people that help each other, the better it is to be able to grow what it is that you do to people who want to help you as well. We have a community called the Game Changers who've been working with for about 6 or 7 months, who are all leaders in their field. Some of them are already running really successful businesses. Some of them are just starting out on that particular side hustle journey. They've got a job, the job's fine, but they want one day to run their own business, and they're wondering, how do we go about doing that? Those people in that community are all part of this already. They understand the value of getting a messaging map because we've spent some time with them to do it. So yes, hi to Subash as well, which is great to have you here. Anybody else who's joining us, let us know where you're coming from. And more than anything, I'm only doing this broadcast today for about another 15 or so minutes. So please feel free to ask me any question related to your branding, your speaking, your leadership, your challenges, and I'll answer them where I can. But especially go to the URL, which you can see if I point there, which is speakonstage.com/bootcamp. If you go there, all the details of joining are all there. So the Wednesday, we're looking at your messaging map, how that comes together with everything else, to understand how to get your perfect target audience, perfect target market, your creation of your perfect target avatar. Who wants your stuff? So many times, especially when I go to a lot of networking events and so on, when I'm talking in an elevator to somebody, what do you do for a living? And I'll ask them, well, I produce, I don't know, some kind of book or some kind of course, or I train people, or I supply. So who do you normally supply to? Who's your perfect client? Anybody, anywhere. Yeah, we know you can give it to anybody, anywhere, but the problem you're stalling is because anybody, anywhere isn't a real thing. When you know your target market and you know who they are, where they are, what their interests are, what they get out of working with you as opposed to anybody else, then you can market to them. And the messaging map is even more important than that, because what it does is when you do it properly and you design it the right way, you create a template you can always use. And it always converts, because people who hear it and watch it and hear about it and check your content go, that's what I'm after. So you don't have to do the hard sell. They say, I love your stuff. So they might buy from you and become clients, or they might start following you and become fans of what it is that you do. Or they might become joint venture brokers who are saying, you know what, I love what you do. I don't need it, but I know somebody who does. Let me connect you and see how you get on with that. So these are the things that make it really powerful for you to understand how you get it. So, I love the fact that you're watching this right now. I really enjoy having you with me, as always. And if you'd like to ask any questions, feel free to do so. This event, I know people are going to say, oh yeah, Dave, you're going to do it all the time. I won't do this event again. This is it. This one particular event with this lineup of things that we have here is specific to get you into the new year and ready to go. So if you're thinking about investing in something, investing in yourself, this is a way to do it. And you're thinking, well, things are tough, Dave. Any idea what it's like out there? Yeah, I do. This is $97 only. That works out less than $20 a day for each of these boot camps, an hour long, with me teaching you everything you need to be able to do to be able to get to the finishing line on each of your different subjects. And it might not make you an expert at the very, very top level of what you do, but it'll certainly give you enough of an insight to be able to push to the front of all the competition you have in your industry. And combining them all together puts you in a position where most people won't even know how to deal with it at all. So, what if you miss any because you're busy and you've got lots of stuff going on, or the time zones are challenging? Now, that's a question that a lot of people will be thinking. Don't worry about it. Once you're on the course, you're available to turn up when you want to for the sessions, or you can watch them later. They'll be available on a special page that you can click the link of and get access to everything for up to 7 days afterwards. So if you miss anything, doesn't matter. Within 24 hours of watching it, you'll be ready for the next session, but you'll be able to go through all the things in your own leisure and your own time. And you're saying, well, does that mean I can just get it later? Well, no, it doesn't mean you can get it later. It won't be available to the general public, only to you, to make sure that you get the best of it. This is the whole point. We want to make sure that you have an advantage over everybody who watches this and goes, well, I'm not going to go. We want to make sure that you get there. Every evening as well, by the way, when you do go live, there's a bonus tip, and there's a PDF for you, which I'll talk about in a moment, which has all the things we talk about during the boot camp. So in your own time, you can sit there and apply it to your own business or your own side hustle or your own aspirations and look at what you need to be able to do. Now, the thing is, some things are not going to be available in the replay. The bonus tip I give you every evening, which could be access to an app or a video or some kind of content or something that as an insight or a tool or a technique that I won't be covering with anybody who watches the videos later. So you want to be live if you can do, to make sure you get the very best out of it, but you will get a ton out of it anyway. There's always a bonus tip to get you there faster. So that's a messaging map, which is going to be on the second day. On the fourth day, then we look at your brand. You might be thinking, Dave, why do we look at your brand on the fourth day? Surely we start off with that. Well, no, it doesn't make sense to start off with your brand. Why? Because if you start off with your brand at the very first day, you won't know what to do with it. You won't know why your brand is important, that you create the right one. Let me explain. Look at this list of different things that we've got. First thing, you've got to get over imposter syndrome to get your head in the right space so you know what it is that you're creating and why you need to create it. Secondly, you've got to make sure your LinkedIn profile is optimized, but also you have a strategy about posting, about commenting, about connecting with people, that when you know what you need to do, people will work with you. Doesn't mean you tell them anything yet, but you've got in the back of your head, okay, that's what I need to do. Third thing is, who's your target audience? It's not just everybody on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn's got about 830 million people on it. It might give you access to a small amount, in fact a tiny amount with the algorithms. In fact, did you know that during the time on LinkedIn, most people will only go, if they do, so a maximum of about 8 different posts. 8 different posts. If they're a heavy user, that's 16 different posts. Then they've had enough, their brains go, enough, go away. So you want to make sure that you start showing up in that. I'll show you all about that and tell you all the numbers and all the tools and all the revelations that you need to have to be effective when we do the LinkedIn leadership strategy on the second day. The messaging map that we cover on the third day is important, because again, how will you know, unless you know what your target avatar is, how will you know how to perfect a brand that appeals to them? And the thing is, you do not turn around and say, yeah, but this is me. Like me, don't like me, that's fine. It's not fine, because people just ignore you. If you can't speak to them, in fact, if you think about it, when you go to a website, how long do you spend on a website before you go, that's no good to me, goodbye? On average, it's about 3 seconds, if you're lucky. Most people take a glance, go, no, don't like it, and they go somewhere else. People have the attention span of a goldfish. So you've got to make sure that everything that you do out online and on your website and on the platforms like this is sticky, so people want to stick with it. That's what I mean. Sticky as in sticky. So they get to it and say, oh, this is interesting. Oh, that appeals to me. Yeah, I'm glad I did that. And once they've bought into that, they buy into you. Does that make sense? Good. So while we're talking about that and you're thinking, okay, Dave, well, if you missed it yesterday, then you missed it completely. Let me share with you why it's important to have a brand that works. Have a look at this video and you'll understand who I am and what I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've hosted over 1,000 events, and there's nothing more exciting or nerve-wracking than getting to introduce one of the best in the business. He's an award-winning international motivational speaker and coach. He's worked with celebrities like James Brown and Bruce Willis.
And I'm Jack Canfield. And I'm Brian Tracy.
And I'm John Gray.
I'm Jared Robin.
And I'm Perry Marshall.
Hi, I'm George Reed.
To audiences of over 1 billion people. He's sharing how to become unstoppable in business. It's my honor to introduce to you Dave Crane.
So there you go, that's me, and that's what I do, and that's what people connect with me to be able to create. And hello to Debbie, who's just joined us. Debbie's just joined the bootcamp. I can't wait to see you tomorrow and work out how we can make your business even better. And if you're wondering, well, Dave, how can I join the bootcamp? Very simple. All you have to do is, can you see below me here, where we got that? That's all you got to do. You got to go to speakonstage.com bootcamp, and from there you'll be able to work out exactly how you can join us and get your own particular space booked for you. It's really vital that you consider this. I've been putting this together for quite some time because the challenge that most people go through is when you create your own business, you're really excited about it because you know the importance of making it, you know that people are going to love to work with you, but then you don't know how to reach those people. We need to make sure that those people know who you are, how they can find you, and also how they can do business with you. And also you need to know how you can do business with them at the same time, because the biggest thing that everyone deals with is there's so much content out there. You may have noticed that during the pandemic, everybody went on their laptops and on their computers and on their devices, and so what happens is we're a more connected world than we've ever had before. And when we're connected in the way that we are, it's really hard to be noticed above all the noise and challenges of everybody else saying me, 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 me. In order to do that more effectively, we need to make sure that you are seen by people. People understand who you are and why they should be doing business with you. Does that make sense? Good. So when we return to our flyer here, if you just joined us, by the way, that's what you do. If you're interested in joining us as well, like Debbie has just done, then all you have to do is go to www, you can see it here, speakonstage.com/bootcamp. In case you're wondering, we start tomorrow night. There's videos available if you miss it, but I'm not repeating this. This is a one-off session. So if you don't join us and say, Dave, when you do it again, the answer is not. You have to join us and find out how you can work with us. I still do my Industry Icon program. I'm working with other people as well, but this is how you do it. Hello to Mohammed, by the way. And are you joining us in the bootcamp? Mohammed, just asking you now, just so you should know. Okay. And I know you might be saying, Dave, but the football's on. Yeah, but your team isn't always playing, and you can watch the replay later on. There's loads of opportunities for you. The football will be there for another month. If you're an England supporter like me, you'll probably be out in the first round anyway, so just gives other things to look at. If you, wherever you are, by the way, say hello. I always like to connect with you to make sure that I can share with you. And if you've got any challenges that you want to ask about this now, I won't be sharing this. This is probably my last chance to broadcast to you, because tomorrow we're full on with putting the bootcamp together, and 8:30 UAE time and 4:30 UK time will be going live for that. It's all special value, and people are saying, you know, Dave, how come it's so cheap? You've got all this stuff, you're doing it for $97 only. Why would you do it so cheap? Well, let me explain to you exactly why it's so cheap. Because I want you to be successful. This is it. I want you to be successful. If I make it a high ticket item, yeah, we'll still get the same number of people coming along because they want it to work. That's why they get it. But it might be prohibitive. I know things are difficult and things are tight. And you might say now, all right, Dave, why charge anybody at all? Because if you don't pay for it, you don't value it. Everything you need to know on the planet, from astrophysics to quantum science, you can go onto YouTube and start looking your way through. But it'll probably take about 100 hours to get the answer that you really, really want. What you want is somebody who will show you exactly what you might get straight away and answer your questions so you know exactly what it is. I mean, let's take Google, for instance. Google, who we all know are amongst the biggest hitters when it comes to getting information. They don't give you information in the same way as they used to. If you go on Google and you put something in, all you get is the SEO of what people have put to make sure they rank higher than anybody else. Might not be the correct answer. You get a lot of grey noise. And so more than anything, you need a group of people who are there to help you to get through to where you need to be. And that's why I created our Game Changers community in the first place. And with this, we're going to have a number of our Game Changers who are luckily going to be joining us on the boot camp. So you get a chance to meet them in the very first place. And if you don't know who the Game Changers are, they're actually amazing people. Some of my favorite people on the planet, because the Game Changers have dedicated themselves to being able to create a really big impact in who they are and what they do. We'll be talking about day 4 and day 5 of the boot camp in a moment, but first let me introduce you to our Game Changers.
My name is Dave Crane. We've never had a time where so many people feel so lonely, so isolated, so helpless, and so scared. Worried about their jobs, worried about their future, worried about their family, worried about their health.
He supported me to change the roles. He supported me to, get back into my feet.
Dave has just given me an opportunity to spin on my heels, click my heels, and say, I am the new take your dream to Dubai guy.
And the learning that I got was more about having the resilient life and living your life to the fullest and, maximizing your capabilities.
Hi, I'm Dave Crane. Let me introduce you to some of the Game Changers.
I'm Aziza. I am Dave's online business manager.
Basically, I make people look good talking about IT when they're from non-IT backgrounds.
In hospitality, I'm the leading lady behind many culinary chefs, also in Dubai, Grégoire Berger, the Michelin star chefs in Belgium.
And in the last 17 years, I've been working on projects for the Dubai government, Abu Dhabi government, and Saudi Arabia government.
I'm from Santa Fe in Mexico.
I'm a health and wellness coach, helping local governments, also solving problems.
Specialised mainly in hotels and airport construction.
I'm busy with many projects, so I moved to Dubai now, and I'm heading towards Saudi Arabia.
People come for the content, but stay for the community.
I like how Leonard's laughing.
Don't worry about it.
Sorry for the background noise because I'm sitting in Convention Hall in Las Vegas, Nevada.
So, with that being said, let's crack on this straight away. Today is a Q&A session.
What we're looking at here is a roadmap for an online course, an online educational platform.
A great session, Dave. Thank you. Lots of great advice, lots of great learning as well. Is there a chance that we could do this one time face-to-face?
I can help you with this, and absolute fantastic locations.
In that case,
there you go. You see, the Game Changers community strikes again.
Ask yourself this question: when are you going to join the Game Changers too? So there you go, that's the Game Changers, that's our global community. When I work with people individually, they're industry icons. It's all about positioning them as the very best in their industry. So if you're thinking about your own business and you're thinking, I don't really know where to start because things are difficult and I really don't reach enough people, this is where you start with our boot camp. I talked about creating your personal brand. That's day number 4. If you just joined us, by the way, then you can check out this replay. But I'm only going to stay on for about another 5-10 minutes maximum to share with you exactly what you need to know to be more effective. The Game Changers, by the way, if you wonder how that's relevant to this boot camp, first of all, we're going to give you a special offer that's only available when you join this to join the Game Changers at reduced rate, but also the number of the Game Changers will be there. Now, the Game Changers are all from across the world in different walks of life, different types of business, so if you ever wanted to tap into a new market or get advice or even share time with people who you know are not there to pick your brains and run off, but are there to support you, that's what the Game Changers has been created for. It's our global community, and we want to make sure that as you start understanding how you can connect with other people, you're not on your own. It's not always a business transaction. People have to trust you. They have to get to know you. They have to like you as well. Well, they don't have to like you to do business with you, but if they do like you, they want to help you. That's what the Game Changers is for, and that's why it's important for you to be able to share and understand that. And nice to see Mo Murad. Excellent, fantastic. So here we go. Why is it relevant to do day number 5 as well? Why would you want to be a top podcast guest rather than actually starting your own podcast? Well, simply because podcasts are really hard to do. There's so many technical questions involving who are you, what are you talking about, who's your target market. If you're scared of speaking, then talking on microphone or camera can be a real challenge for you as well. You might be thinking, I don't really know if my audience is going to watch. And when you first start doing it, you're thinking, nobody's paying attention to this. Why do I keep doing it? There is a breakthrough period when you start getting feedback and you start thinking, it's working. And there's a reason for doing a podcast. I promise you, there's 2 million podcasts across the world. And being a radio guy or ex-radio and TV guy, I didn't understand why it was so relevant to have a podcast, but now I know. And for every business, it's like, can you imagine running a business now without being on the internet or having Wi-Fi access or having any social media profiles? You're basically swimming with both hands tied behind your back and lead boots on. So once you start understanding that, you start understanding the power of podcasts, you don't have to start with your own podcast. I'm going to teach everybody on our bootcamp how to fast track that whole process by creating a brand that other people with podcasts will want to connect to. So once you know, and you've got over imposter syndrome, so you're happy to talk and be that person, and you also feel comfortable with a LinkedIn strategy so people can cross-reference you, because if you ever go to a live event and people get your business card, yes, they do check you out on LinkedIn. They used to check you out on Facebook first, but now they check you out on LinkedIn, and many people don't go to any other platform. I know that I'm broadcasting now on Facebook, but many people only have LinkedIn as their only social media because it's business-like, and they know that it feels different when they're doing stuff there. So then they're able to check out the messaging map of how to connect with you and also get their brand to be right. You can get your brand to be right. So therefore, you can get onto other people's podcasts because they look at all this stuff and they say, right, I would love to have you on my show. Why would you want to be on somebody else's show? Because once you're on somebody else's show, it means that you get access to their audience too. It's called a list spill. And internet marketers will be very aware about how that comes. If you just joined us, by the way, nice to see you. Welcome to this particular show. It's a very quick one. Well, hey, thank you. This is just literally to share with you what's coming up tomorrow with our Speakers Leadership Bootcamp. If you don't know about that, then go to this URL. He said pointing here. You see the red bit there? Can you see it? www.speakonstage.com bootcamp. You can see there, just go to that /bootcamp and you can see all the details all about it, and you see how you join us as well. It's only $97 and it's 5 days of solid training, and I'm going to be sharing with you all the things that you need to do. So I mentioned there about the bootcamp, about the fact that you can also learn how to be a podcast guest, because then once you've got that, you can start marketing yourself really, really well without having a podcast. You can say to people, you can come on mine later on, and you'll have great people who want to join in. Because it's really a new industry, but a lot of people, I mean, to put it in perspective, when I was doing this before, I had a TV show that was a podcast that was done on it was on Facebook, and it was done on YouTube long time before everybody else was doing it, I promise you. And I got sponsored. My shows were sponsored. My first season, I put it out. The second season, it was sponsored for about $20,000 to do 12 episodes. And that's not because I'm better than everybody else, even though I'm pretty good at what I do. It's because I was targeting it just right. So you can get sponsors. In fact, there's a ton of ways of monetizing your stuff. In fact, now I think about it, there's a ton of things I could share with you. Have a quick look at this, by the way. I'll give you an exclusive look at this. I'm going to be sharing this with the people on the podcast, but on the actual bootcamp. But take a look at this, for instance. Here you've got the business model for speaking. You don't have to be a speaker, by the way, to be able to do this effectively. These are income streams that you have in addition to your normal job. Because I would never recommend finish everything and become a speaker, because the industry doesn't work quite like that. You want to have side hustles to put together. When you put them all together, they become main hustles, but they can support you as well. So as a speaker, you've got all these different things. Podcasting, you can see there on the left, is number 2 on the list of things you can look at, but creating tribes, getting sponsors, having meetups and residencies, sales coaching, creating and writing a book, creating seminars and having retreats that people can come and stay on, online training courses, organizing events, having a mastermind group, being paid to create content about the subjects that you're very good at. And of course, once you create a system, you can license that system with products and also help other people to be able to grow their own success, which is ultimately what people will want. So then you can do live events and get paid. These are all the things in the circles you can see there and the Venn diagram. These are the things you can get paid for just by having a speaking ability. But it doesn't mean that's the only way that you can make it work. I just wanted to share that with you because there's a methodology to all this that I've put in place. I work with many people. Some of my friends and colleagues around the world make millions from that business model. When you double down on one particular area and you push it through, you'll find incredible successes coming through it. Any questions you've got, by the way, then feel free to ask me because I'm just about to finish the podcast, this broadcast in the coming moments. And so if you have any questions, a lot of people say, well, does it matter how far along you are? Do you have to have your own side hustle? Do you have to have your own job or business? No, you don't. You can do very well just by sticking at who you are. So for instance, if you're a student or you're a teacher or a lecturer or an employee, you want to be noticed by the big bosses, growing your brand will really help. It means that in a very short amount of time, they know who's making the effort. They know who the best people are. That's why it's important to have this. If you want to hit the ground running in 2023, this is essential for you. Otherwise, what happens is you join a gym. If you join a gym, or you say, right, my New Year's resolution is to make it better, and then you get hit by life. And life catches up with you and you say, right, oh yeah, I was meant to make things better, but you got no idea how to do it. And forget luck. Luck is not a business model. Luck doesn't work. Luck only comes along when you've got your act together, you take action and you create opportunities. And you want opportunities to come to you. That's why it's so important to be at the Speakers Leadership Bootcamp. And I know you're probably saying, well, Dave, I'm not a speaker. You don't have to be a speaker. This is not about speaking. This is something that gets tagged on. It's essential stuff for speakers, but it's essential for anybody who just wants to grow their brand. Speaking is not necessarily about your ability to hold a microphone and talk in front of an audience. I do that all the time, and I'm very, very good at doing it. I hosted Dubai Rugby Sevens for 20 years, going out and entertaining 50,000 people each time, and also about 200,000 people at home watching the rugby. So I'm very aware about the importance of working a microphone, but not everybody does that. What's going on inside your head is your voice. You choose and select what your voice comes up with, and then it either comes out through your mouth. I know it sounds stupid for me to be saying it in these terms, or you could end up writing it or creating it or getting it out there. You might be making videos, you could be writing posts, could be connecting people. You might not even want to be so out there that all you want to do is just connect with people and do joint ventures and get paid commission because you know somebody who wants something, you know somebody who's got something. If you connect the two and you get paid for doing it, then that's also part of your speaker and speaking portfolio. Really, really powerful. Okay, so that's it for today. We start tomorrow. Once again, this is it. Speakonstage.com, the bootcamp. Doesn't say the bootcamp, speakonstage.com/bootcamp, or is it / whatever slash that is, that's the one you want to do. Debbie, I can't wait to work with you and see you tomorrow. Mohammed, I look forward to seeing you as well. Everybody else, this is your last chance to go and register. We have the doors open for you. We're waiting to introduce you to some of our game changers. I'm looking forward to taking you to a whole new level when we start working on this with you. Okay, so with that, I've mentioned all the different things we cover. We've got boot camps waiting for you. We've got special gifts for you, a playbook all waiting for you, and a replay all included. And the benefits of attending, as I mentioned before, you skyrocket your personal brand, You can open up business opportunities you'd not even considered when people see who you are, and then you think about who your target market is and how to reach them. Your personal net worth increases exponentially because you're not just waiting for things to happen, you create it. You're happier, you're more confident that you're in charge of the way that your life is going, and of course, we make sure that you get a certificate of attendance. So if you're pitching for a job or you're wanting to be able to collect certificates to prove that you are going on personal development journeys, then this will be very powerful for you, not just because of the content that you're getting, but you've got the physical evidence to be able to turn around and say, I was there. Once again, if you've just joined us, you've missed all the bits I was talking about, so let me just very quickly bring you up to speed with this. Watch this video and you'll find out. If you're a decision maker who's worried you're wasting time, missing out on great clients, or even losing money, you can fix it immediately at the Speakers Leadership Bootcamp. I help game changers like you build a personal and business brand that automatically attracts clients who want to invest in you. Imagine waking up and feeling unstoppable because your ideas turn into dollars every time. Book your place on the next Speakers Leadership Bootcamp and discover the future successes you truly deserve right now. And that's it. I'm going to go. Get the QR code off here. You can press it with your finger. It'll take you straight to the website, which is speakonstage.com/bootcamp. Or you can take a screenshot if you're on a device and go back and press it later. I have tested this. It does work. I know you're thinking, Dave, that's like Doctor Strange level magic. It's not. It's called the internet. You should try it. It's really good. So this QR code will take you directly to it. Watch the video again. Fast forward to the QR code if you need to. And it takes you to speakonstage.com bootcamp. With that being said, it's only $97 for you to join us, but that $97 will be worth a fortune to you as you grow exponentially on your journey. It's one of those things that becomes really difficult to understand unless you really do it, but I can promise you one thing: if you don't invest in yourself, you're never going to find out how big you can be, because this journey starts like this. The awareness and the aspirations is where you're kind of at now. Imagine what it's like when you own your own industry. This is what we do with the industry icon clients that we work with. Right now, you're being aware at the beginning. This is stage one. You may be aspiring to do something more. We'll be sharing with you how you create that journey and how you get to the top of your food chain, and it starts by making a decision, and this is your decision. I look forward to working with you. The bootcamp starts at 8:30 UAE tomorrow, which is 4:30 UK time. There's still time for you to register, but we will be closing the doors. Don't be one of those people that arrives and we say too late you can't get in, because there's nothing worse than that, especially when you realize the value of what we as a community and with the content we're going to share is going to bring to you. That's it for me. It's been a pleasure having you with me. DM me directly if you've got any challenges or you want to know more things, because I'm more than happy to illustrate where you could be and tell you about the roadmap that you're going to be creating for yourself to get to the future. Contact me directly through this platform. If you're on LinkedIn, you're on Facebook, on YouTube, and we'll get back to you as soon as we possibly can, or Twitter, because we're broadcasting live there as well. Meanwhile, I'll see you at the bootcamp. Look forward to meeting you and taking your business to a whole new level. Before years ago, I was wondering what would it be like to have been on a journey like this? How could I get on a journey like that? And that's why I'm creating this for you. So you don't have to ask that question. You just sign up, register, and join us. Talk to you soon. And that's it for today's podcast. I hope you really enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure having you here with me. If you go to speakonstage.com, everything you need will be there. You get access to my blog, you get past and present podcasts, find out about the events that are upcoming, and also you could join the Game Changers and join our global community, our membership. We're changing the world. Similarly, if you really want to push your brand and get speaking gigs all around the world, then you've got to become an industry icon. Book a session with me, we'll have a chat about it, and you can get our online courses to become an amazing speaker and also position yourself as the very best in your niche. I look forward to catching you soon on another podcast. Meanwhile, have an amazing day.